Hello there, welcome or welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi. My name is Samantha and this is my channel where I talk all about books. Anyway, today I'm coming to you with episode 3 of my TBR Tackle. I cannot believe that we are on episode 3 already. This is kind of crazy. And for this episode, we are starting with 35 books on the TBR. So we are finally making some progress. Although saying that, I am going to be acquiring a book later on in this month. It's probably already happened by the time you're seeing this video, but obviously Sunrise on the Reaping is coming out and I am buying it because I can only imagine that the queue of the library is going to be like a year long. So I'm just gonna buy it and hopefully I love it. But yeah, ignoring that increase, we'll talk about that in the next one. Yes, when I'm starting this video, we are already a little bit of the ways into March and I've actually literally just finished episode 2 and I'm not reading anything at the moment. So I wanted to start off this video to choose my next read. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a spinner wheel again. I used a spinner wheel last month and I just am having a little bit of decision paralysis. So I think it's time to take everything out of my hands. And next month I promise we'll do a different theme for the episode. But in this episode, we're going to use the trusty spinner wheel again. So I've put all of the books from my TBR that I don't already have plans for other things into the trusty spinner wheel. And I'm just going to start a screen record and we're going to spin for the 3 books that I'm hoping to read in this video. Let's spin. Okay, so the first book that we landed on, this is actually so crazy because I feel like this is going to be a really good choice potentially, but we landed on Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, which is also one of the most recent books I purchased, which is kind of annoying because obviously it would be good to read some of the older stuff on the TBR, but yeah, I'm very excited to read this tentatively. I feel like I might get very frustrated by it, but it could also be a really good time. So we will go over what this book is about when we get to it, but this is the first pick from the spinner wheel. It's treating me well, potentially. Maybe I spoke too soon. Okay, and now it's time for spin number 2. Let's go. Oh my god! This is actually perfect. So the second book that we landed on is Things in Jars by Jess Kidd, which is actually absolutely perfect because this is my Buzzwordathon pick for this month because in the month of March, the word is thing. This is actually perfect. So I was already planning to read this month and now I have to. Yeah, I actually could not have chosen this better. I promise this is not rigged. Okay, now let's go for spin number 3. Okay, we landed on Persuasion by Jane Austen, which is kind of strange, kind of a weird mix. I don't currently have Persuasion out of its box set yet. I still have the plastic on this. I don't know why. I'm just hesitant to actually open this. My granny gave me this little box set of all of Jane Austen's works, and Persuasion is this smaller one here. I actually think it's one of the smallest ones. And I do also have the audiobook. I have the like Audible collection of all of Jane Austen's works, which is like read by famous actresses. And yeah, so I'll probably be listening to the audiobook, but also reading along. So I will be opening this box set at some point during this video. I kind of thought I would maybe do a video where I read all of Jane Austen's works in one video. However, I think if I do that, I'm gonna be so sad because I'm gonna read all of her stuff and then never get anything new from her ever again, obviously. So I don't think we want to do that, but I will probably be reading all of them this year, which is a bit sad. But yeah, Persuasion by Jane Austen is happening, apparently. Wow, what a time to be alive. I have no idea what I'm going to start with, but I will check in with you once I've started something and I have some thoughts. But for now, I'm going to get into bed and read because it's like 8 p.m. and I'm a grandma, so it's bedtime for me. But I will chat to you when I have something to tell you about. Hello, it's been like a week and a half since I introed this vlog. I haven't started reading anything because I was reading something else which I DNF'd and I've been waiting for my copy of Sunrise on the Reaping to arrive. It's not going to arrive till Friday. It's currently Wednesday and it came out yesterday, so I have to wait all the way till Friday, and I'm going out for dinner on Friday, which I'm excited about. However, it means I will not be able to read Sunrise on the Reaping until Friday night at the earliest, so I'm really annoyed, and I've been putting off reading something because I was like, oh, Sunrise on the Reaping is coming out on Tuesday, I'm gonna get it on Tuesday. Nope, If only. Anyway, and I finally DNF'd the book that I was reading. Technically today, I was like, I'm done. So I need to read something else. And I think we're gonna read Magnolia Parks because I feel like this is going to be the quickest read of the 3 that I've chosen for this vlog or have been chosen for me. I think I'm gonna start this tonight. However, Alex wants to watch a movie, I think. We've been watching a lot of like movie and TV recently. Don't know why. Maybe because I haven't been reading very much. Also, you might be wondering, where are you? I've never seen this background before. I'm at my sister's flat because she and her husband are currently away and they asked me and my husband to come house sit, and we were like, absolutely, why not? It's like 5 minutes away from my house, so it's very convenient for if we have to pop back and get anything. So yeah, we're here for 2 weeks and hopefully I'll get some actual reading done. But it's also like a very busy time at the moment because I'm doing like job application stuff. I had an interview today, I had an interview on Monday. I've got to the next stage for both of them, so I'm really excited about that. A busy bee, but also my course is almost done. I finish on Friday, which is crazy, and then it's just up to me to put in the work to find a job. That's a lot of rambling just to explain where I am and that I'm going to start Magnolia Parks. So I'll come to you when I have something to tell you about. Good morning. It's Saturday. I finished my course yesterday, which is crazy. Hey, stop doing that. Meow, no. Oh my god. My cats are currently here because we're about to have a house viewing, so my mom brought the cats over. And there's this like, it's called a plinth. It's like the bit of wood that goes on the bottom of like cupboards and stuff in kitchens. And it keeps falling off. And so I keep putting it back, but I forgot to do it before the cats came. And now she really wants to get in there and like get underneath the sink. I'm like, that's not happening. But yes, I finished my course yesterday, which was actually really fun. It was like a little graduation day. So we had to do like a little presentation in our teams and just chat about like what we learned, how our campaigns went, all of that. We did our little presentations and we got our certificates and like just mingled. And it was really nice. And then yeah, we decided to go for drinks afterwards, and I was there so much later than I was expecting. I think we got to the pub like 2:30 and I thought I would be there for like an hour, but I actually stayed until like 4:45, which was kind of a disaster because then I was meeting my friend Evie for dinner and I was like on the bus on the way home and it was just taking so long because it was rush hour. So I was literally like, I'm gonna be late, but I ended up getting to the restaurant right on time for 6:30. What a slay. Anyway, but I'm here to talk to you about Magnolia Parks. I just covered this in cinnamon by accident. I'm making banana bread, well, banana muffins. I'm literally in the middle of that. I just mashed the banana and I was like, perfect time to film. I don't know why, but Magnolia Parks, I have been reading this. I have to say the first night I was reading this, I struggled. I read like 30 pages and it took me a long time. I just could not get into it. Then the next night I read 50 pages in one go, no problem. Anyway, and I managed to read quite a bit yesterday as well and a little bit this morning. So I'm now on page 184. So I'm like 40% of the way through, which, why is this book so long? Anyway, if you don't know what Magnolia Parks is about, somehow, where have you been? Basically follows our main girly pop, Magnolia Parks, obviously. She's a beautiful, affluent, self-involved, and mildly neurotic London socialite. And essentially she had this relationship with this guy called BJ Ballantyne. Just let that sink in for a second. BJ Ballantyne. His name is Baxter James, and obviously shortened to BJ. And I just have to think to myself, why? Why did Jesse Hastings do that? Because I don't know if I've been spending too much time around an immature man, my husband, or what, but BJ to me, it has a certain meaning. And so it's very strange to just be reading it all the time. And also like they quite often call him Beej. That's just ridiculous to me. He's Britain's most photographed bad boy who broke her heart. But these two are meant to be and everyone knows it. But why? I don't know it. I have no idea why the fuck they should be together. Oh, it's frustrating me so much. Magnolia and BJ are written in stars, just suspended in a strange kind of love that looks like hurting each other a lot of the time. She dates other people to keep him at bay. He sleeps with other girls to get back at her for it. Only now their dysfunction is catching up with them. As the cracks start to show and secrets begin to surface, Magnolia and BJ are finally forced to face the formidable question they've been avoiding all their lives. How many loves do you really get in a lifetime? Oh my god. If you couldn't tell, I'm not having a good time. This is probably one of the worst books I've ever read. I was really optimistic going into this. I feel like I somehow missed all of the like hype surrounding this when it first came out, which I think was 2021. It's probably because I'm not on TikTok, so I missed all of the hype when it was getting big on TikTok. And so people started talking about it on BookTube and I was like, I don't know what this is. And I never really looked into it too much. So it was just kind of like a book that I'd heard of, but not really heard that much about. And then in like the last year, there are 2 booktubers who I watch. One is Kayla from Books and Lala, which you probably know. She's pretty prolific and excellent. So if you don't know Books and Lala, you should watch her videos. And the other one is Harriet from the channel Scriptspo. I really love her content. She's an Australian booktuber. I found her channel maybe like 18 months ago and I became slightly obsessed, and I think I watched all of her previous videos because I was like, it's just like hanging out with a friend. It's so nice. Yeah, love her content. But yeah, I saw both of them reading and kind of raving about this book and this series. So I was like, okay, like maybe I have more of an open mind, like let me give it a go. I specifically wanted to pick it up after hearing Kayla talk about it, even though she and I do not have the same book taste. That was an interesting choice on my part. Mostly two completely opposite tastes in books. She likes weird books, horror, things that I would not read. However, there are some cases where I find that like I don't like a popular book and I see that Kayla also didn't like that popular book, or I like a book that is not that popular and I see that Kayla also liked it. So then I'm like, okay, we do have some similar opinions, so let me give this polarizing book a go. So yeah, that was kind of part of it. And then also in her video where Kayla read it, she talked about how it had like slightly Georgia Nicholson vibes. I loved that series. And I can kind of see where she's coming from, because sometimes Magnolia, I don't have any examples, but sometimes Magnolia just says something and it's like a really similar voice of like naive, self-centered ridiculousness as George Nicholson. However, Magnolia doesn't have any other charms that Georgia does, and also it's not funny. Like, this isn't making me laugh at all, and I'm just so frustrated because I feel like this is just not the type of relationship that I personally find fun to read about. It's so unbelievably toxic. Like, it even says it in the synopsis. She is basically like dating other guys, but she never like does anything with them. Like, they kiss, but nothing more than that. And then every single night she and BJ sleep in the same bed, and they're not sleeping together, but they're sleeping together, if you know what I mean. She's like dating these other guys, but it's all just kind of for show to make BJ jealous. But then sometimes he will be like fed up with it, and so he'll just go and sleep with a bunch of other women and then tell her about it because he knows that it hurts her. And I'm like, that's not okay. So I'm just like, I don't really get it. I don't get it. And like what he did to her for them to break up, in my opinion, is inexcusable. Yeah, I'm just struggling. I'm struggling because it's so much, like, this entire book so far is just them like going to parties or going to restaurants and like talking about how much they're meant to be together, but how every single time they go to a restaurant or a party, he goes home with somebody else. Now she's like fake dating this guy called Tom England. Are you kidding me? His name's Tom England. I think there's also going to be some like mafia aspects to it, just like from hearing things from about the next book, well, like the Daisy Hates sort of series that goes like along with this. Also, like, there have been some mentions of it as well. So this is gonna be really interesting. I've never read anything mafia related before, so who knows. Like, every single time someone comes in with a different outfit, Magnolia has to like name all of the designers and like explain the outfit in too much detail, and I'm like, I don't fucking care. I don't know who any of these designers are. So anyway, I am kind of hate reading it at the moment. I think I will finish it because I just like updated my Goodreads and said like, I think this is one of the worst books I've ever read. However, it is like a car crash and I kind of have to know how it ends, because also people say that the ending like breaks them, and I'm not gonna cry because I don't give a shit, and I don't think I'm gonna continue on, but I do want to know how it ends, just out of curiosity, pure curiosity. I want to know if there's anything redeeming. But like, how could anyone be in favor of this relationship? I don't get it. So that's my little reading update. And also, this finally arrived at my house yesterday and I didn't get a chance to go pick it up, so my mom just brought it over for me. I think you know what it is. I'm so excited. It is Sunrise on the Reaping, obviously. Sunrise on the Reaping. Finally here. I will not be reading this in this vlog, unfortunately. I wish I was. I want to drop everything, throw Magnolia Parks out the window. Oh my goodness, it's so nice under the dust jacket. I like that. I haven't heard any reviews so far because I have been avoiding them like the plague. I know, like, obviously it's a prequel, so we already know what happened. However, I don't want to know like the specifics whatsoever. Anytime I've opened Instagram and like I've seen that someone's posting their review, I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know your thoughts. Somehow, like on Goodreads, none of my Goodreads friends have been reading it. I don't know. I've just avoided all thoughts, so I don't have anyone's influence. But yeah, I think after Magnolia Parks, I'm going to take a little break from this vlog so that I can read this, because this is my most anticipated book of the year. Okay, I feel like I'm being annoying and I need to shut up. And also, my bananas are starting to go a little bit brown because I mashed them up for the banana bread. So I'm going to make these little muffins and then I'm going to read Magnolia Parks. I'm going to try and finish it today, I think. Although I also have to edit my video for tomorrow. We'll see how things go. But I'm going to make these muffins. I'll touch you later. Look at this diva. She just made herself right at home, right on my side of the bed. She's like, let me get my fur all over your side of the bed, right over the pillow. Hello, good morning. It's Sunday. I've just been sitting here doing some reading of Magnolia Parks. I hate it. I hate it so much. But I'm like, I want to finish it just because I'm like this close to the end now. Although I've been hating it for quite some time. But yeah, I've got like 70 pages left, I think. So I'm like, I'm gonna finish it. And like, it's because I bought it. I'm like, I really have to finish it. I've got a bunch of books for free from the library when I worked there. So for those ones, I'm like super quick to DNF. Or like an ebook, I feel like less guilty about DNFing. But if I've like spent my own money on it, I'm like, I need to try and finish this. So close. And also I'm like, I just kind of want to know what's gonna happen. But equally, I think I just don't give a shit. The more I read this, the more I hate BJ, the more I hate Magnolia. The only character who I don't hate is Tom England, which is surprising. Oh, and Bridget, the sister, Bridget, don't mind her either. I think something that's really bothering me is like, there's so much potential for there to be like good female friendships in this book, and there just aren't. Like something happened involving this girl that Magnolia hates, but she kind of had Magnolia's back in a moment of need, and that really could have turned into something like a sweet moment between them, but it didn't. It didn't, because this is shit. And I'm like, I'm so annoyed because I feel like, yeah, I love a good friendship moment. Obviously I like romance, I read a lot of it, but I honestly care more about friendships in stories than romantic stories. Kind of over it. Well, no, I'm very much over it. I'm so close to finishing. I'm watching back some sprints from Tori, and they were from like last weekend, I think, but I just did not see them when they were live. But sometimes you just need reading sprints to actually force you to read. So I have been doing those since yesterday. Like I started them and just paused it. So I think there's probably like one more sprint left. I'm hoping I can finish this in that time because I want it to be done. I'll come back to you once I finish with a final rating, but you can probably see where this is going. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
It's an awful house, and I wanted to get you out. I'm working on a plan right now to come through. I've waited for a lifetime for you to calm down. Oh, nothing feels the same without you now. I've waited for a lifetime for you to calm down, 'cause nothing feels the same.
It's been a little while. I just finished watching back those sprints. Like I said, there was only one sprint left, and in that sprint I managed to finish Magnolia Parks. And I want to say, like, I know I've been really negative, and this is going to continue to be negative because this was awful, but I want to just like put it out there that I went in with the best intentions, like medium expectations. I wanted to enjoy this. I did. Like, I never would have bought this if I thought that I was gonna hate it this much, but I thought I could like it. Maybe I'll like it. I didn't at all. This was such an infuriating read. I feel like I spoke about this when I was talking about The Favorites by Lane Fargo, which I read a couple months ago. And essentially something that I find very frustrating is when there's like this quote unquote fated relationship. Like, they're meant to be together, they're destined to be together, and like, you know, we're just supposed to root for them because everyone says that. But I'm like, but why are you destined to be together? Because I don't know. Like, I feel like that sort of trope works in fantasy because, you know, with fantasy you can actually put in things that mean that you are genuinely fated to be together. But in contemporary romance, which I don't really call this a romance book, but in contemporary romance I feel like it's such a dumb trope because it just is an excuse for people to hurt each other again and again and again, but still go back and make the same mistakes. So I don't get it. I don't get it. And it makes like for a very tiring reading experience because it's just like emotionally exhausting seeing characters just destroy each other again and again and again and then say that they love each other, but they clearly don't. You don't do this to somebody that you love. I just don't get it. Maybe my relationship is just so healthy that I don't get this. I don't get it. And going back to the whole destined to be together, like a couple times other characters mentioned how they have such amazing chemistry. It's clear that they're supposed to be together. And I'm like, but where is that chemistry? Is it in the room with us? I don't think so. Painful painful to read, honestly. Terrible experience. If you couldn't gather, this was a 1. I did finish it, so there's that. That made me think like maybe it's a 2, but did I enjoy any aspect of this? No. No, I did not. That's kind of harsh. I did think that very occasionally Magnolia spoke in a way which was Georgia Nicholson adjacent, and that was kind of funny. But every other thing about it, I hated it. I hated it. So it is a 1. Do I regret reading this? Absolutely. At the same time, I didn't want to know what it was all about. The fact of the matter is that it's actually about nothing. It's about absolutely nothing. Just these 2 characters fucking each other over for 430 pages. I'm so glad it's over. I need to go for a run today, and I'm kind of dreading it just because I always dread my runs a little bit. I'm also excited because it means I can just burn off the negative energy that this book has given me. And then this afternoon, I can read Sunrise on the Reaping and hopefully, well, I was going to say be happy, but like realistically, is that book going to destroy me? Probably. At least it's not this fucking book. Anyway, I'm gonna go get ready for my run. I will just come back to you once I've started my next book for this vlog. I'm not gonna be vlogging Sunrise on the Reaping in this vlog because that wasn't in the TBR. I think I'm gonna do a separate Sunrise on the Reaping vlog. Look out for that. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I will chat to you later. Hello, good morning. It has been such a long time since I've updated this vlog because I've been working on a different vlog at the same time, but I was feeling like an audiobook. So I actually restarted because I had previously started it, but only read like 2 chapters. So I restarted Persuasion, this tiny little copy. You cannot see the title because it just doesn't want to focus on it. But yes, I'm currently listening to the audiobook of Persuasion. I had no idea what this one was about going into it, but this was actually the last book that Jane Austen wrote or published. Not quite sure, but I think it's the last one she wrote. It just is her final novel, and it basically follows our main character, Anne. And essentially at the beginning of this book, we learn that her family has some money troubles because her mother passed away about 13 years ago, and her father has just been living outside of his means, and she has 2 sisters. And obviously back in the day, having daughters was not really great because you'd have to pay a dowry to her husband, and you know, it's just expensive to have daughters. So obviously not in a great position. So at the beginning of the book, they end up having to move out of their house and renting the house out, and her father and her older sister actually move to Bath, and she stays around for a little while. So she stays behind and she's staying with a friend, and also one of her sisters, Mary, still lives in the area as well, so she's spending a lot of time with her. And the first tenants come in, who are the Crofts, but disaster strikes because the Crofts, the Lady Croft, her brother happens to be a Captain Wentworth, whom Anne sort of had a bit of a relationship with 8 years prior. They sort of had a bit of a romance, and Anne was, you know, prepared to marry him. However, a close family friend, Lady Russell, she basically said to Anne, I don't think he's good enough for you. So Anne turned him down, and then he went off to war, and now he's back. So it's basically a second chance romance between them, because I hadn't thought about this before, but Jane Austen really did create the romance tropes, didn't she? Like, got second chance romance in this. In Pride and Prejudice, it's enemies to lovers, and also like miscommunication. Jane, she really created those tropes. Second chance romance. I feel so strange calling a book that's literally 200 years old a second chance romance, but technically it is, between Anne and Captain Wentworth. However, it's quite sad at the moment because basically he is looking for a wife and he doesn't think that Anne is interested, obviously. So there are 2 other young girls who are around. I can't exactly remember how they are related to Anne, but they somehow are. I think they're her brother-in-law's sisters. So he has kind of taken an interest in both of them. And so just now we've got to a part where they're all sort of trying to figure out who Captain Wentworth wants to be with, whether it's Louisa or Henrietta, but we all know it's gonna be Anne. But Anne is just feeling very sad, but she knows, like, you know, it's my fault because I turned him down before. I'm enjoying it so far. It is a little bit sad because Anne is, you know, feeling hurt, but I'm excited to see how things resolve. I'm about a third of the way through and I'm listening to the audiobook. It's actually the Audible original version, like the Jane Austen collection. So it's all of her works, but obviously I'm just listening to Persuasion. And this one is read by Florence Pugh, and it's also sort of dramatized. So it is a slightly abridged version, but it is like most of it. And according to this, on the speed that I'm listening at, I have 3 hours and 24 minutes left. So hopefully I'll finish this soon. Like I said, I haven't been listening to a ton ton of audiobooks recently because I actually finished my big craft that I was working on. If you've been watching my vlogs for like the last 6 months, I've been working on a cross stitch, and this is a completely mindless task, but I love it because it just gives me something to do with my hands while I listen to audiobooks or watch TV or something like that, because I'm definitely like a fidgety person. I used to always play games on my phone while watching TV. Like, it's definitely an attention span thing, and I should just work on it. But yeah, I don't love to just sit there and listen to audiobooks and do nothing. But I finished my cross stitch and I've moved on to a crochet project, but I'm not very good at crochet, so I really have to concentrate. So I haven't got to the stage where I'm comfortable listening to audiobooks and crocheting at the same time. But I did make my first granny square, which was not the end of the world. It's not the best ever, but it's a granny square, kind of a square. But yeah, I was trying to make a dinosaur for my nephew, but that is going to have to be put on hold because I think I need to master the granny square first before I try and do something more difficult. All that to say, I have not been listening to a ton of audiobooks, but because I've been getting ready a little bit recently, I've been listening while I do my makeup. I'm actually in the middle of like an episode because it's not chapters for this one, it's episodes, I guess, because it's like slightly dramatized. So yeah, I'm in the middle of an episode and I need to finish that. But I will check in with you when I have any more thoughts. It might be at the end, we'll see. This is my second ever Jane Austen book and it's going well so far. I'm going to go. I'll talk to you later. Hello there. Good morning. It's been a few days since I last spoke to you. I have in fact chopped off a lot of my hair and colored it. So my hair is like a lot darker now, although it's still got some blonde in it. Don't worry, I'll never fully get rid of the blonde. And what else happened yesterday? I finished reading Persuasion. I'm sorry that I didn't check in more, but I feel like there wasn't that much to say about it. Yeah, I finished listening to the audiobook yesterday. It was a slightly abridged version, but I do know like what happened and I am counting it as read. I will reread it at some point and I think I'll try with my eyes. I did really enjoy this. The only thing that I didn't love was I feel like there wasn't actually that much interaction between Wentworth and Anne, who are the couple, and there was quite a bit of miscommunication, although obviously it's like old-fashioned, so it's not like as annoying as now where it's like, oh, just talk to each other. It's like there are actual like things that, because of like propriety and stuff like that, it makes sense that you're not just like coming out and saying it. So for example, like at the point where I last spoke to you, it seemed like Wentworth was falling in love with somebody else, so, or like, you know, becoming acquainted with somebody else, so like, you know, that's like the first step to them becoming engaged. So it looked like he was going to get engaged to someone else, so she was kind of backing off. And then later on in the book, it looks like Anne is getting acquainted with some other man, so Wentworth is, you know, backing off and like letting that happen because that's just how it was back then. Maybe it comes to light that they still love each other. I'm not going to say, even though I don't really think it's a spoiler when this book is like over 200 years old, but I did enjoy it. I just wish there were like a couple more interactions between Wentworth and Anne, but it was still a good time and I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, it's not Pride and Prejudice, but it was pretty good. I would like to reread it at some point. I also really liked the family because they were all absolutely horrible people and it was ridiculous, but like it wasn't that typical Jane Austen humor, and I just thought it was really well done. And actually I started watching the 2022 movie last night, the one with Dakota Johnson, which I think is actually not very good because her accent is so bad, and also they've like tried to modernize it a little bit but not really, so it's like, I don't know, just kind of weird. So yeah, I started watching that yesterday, but I didn't finish it because I had to go to sleep because it was very late. But the actress who plays Mary, who's the youngest sister, she is so funny, and I think she's doing Mary perfectly. So even if the rest of the movie is annoying me a little bit, at least Mary is very well done. I also think that the father and the oldest sister, Elizabeth, they are also being played pretty well. I'm enjoying that. There's other aspects of the film that I'm not enjoying, but yeah, I still really enjoyed it. Gave it 4 stars. I had a good time with it. And so in theory, the last book that we are reading for this vlog is Things in Jars by Jess Kidd. However, I have some news for you. I'm so sorry if this is disappointing, but I am actually going to be unhauling this without reading it. I listened to a sample of the audiobook and I just really was not vibing with the writing style. So I had a little look at reviews, which I really, oh my god, the lighting is just killing me today. It's cloudy outside today, so the lighting is terrible. But anyway, I listened to a sample of the audiobook. I really wasn't vibing with the writing style, and so I decided to just have a little look at some reviews just to see what people say. And a lot of people said that this is like really weird, and like if you like weird fiction, you'll enjoy this. I don't typically like weird fiction, and just judging by what I read of the writing style, I was like, I don't think so. And like every time I look at it, I'm like, I don't I don't really want to read this. So I'm so sorry, but I'm not actually going to read this, and I'm not going to replace it with a different book just because this is supposed to be March's episode and we are already halfway into April. So I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to replace it. This is just going to be a 2-book vlog. But because I'm unhauling this, and I also unhauled a couple other books from the TBR this month, we are ending off this video with 28 books on the TBR, which is pretty good. So we've definitely decreased, which is excellent. So yeah, to recap, I'm unhauling this, not reading it. Firstly, I read Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings, and I gave this 1 star. This will also be unhauled. Then I read Persuasion by Jane Austen, and I gave this 4 stars. So this video was not as successful as the last one because obviously I had better ratings last time, but I'm still happy I read this. And you know, I'm glad I read Magnolia Parks to see what it's all about, but equally, I wish I hadn't read it. Yes, that is all that I have for this episode of TBR Tackle. Next month, spoiler, I'm going to tell you if you want to know, but next month I'm going to be doing a mood reading version because I do actually want to control it because, you know, a lot of books this year have been chosen for me and I want to choose for myself. So next month we are going to be doing a mood reading vlog for TBR Tackle, but yes, TBR Tackle episode 3 is done, and yeah, that's all that I have. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, feel free to subscribe down below. And if you made it all the way to the end and you don't know what to say, then just leave me a high heel emoji for Magnolia Parks, even though I hate that book. Yeah, leave me some sort of fashion item or high heel specifically. Yeah, that's all I have for this video. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon with another one. Bye.